Hello and welcome back to the Double DSQ, a Formula One podcast. We are your hosts, Hayden and Robin. I am Robin. This is Hayden. And my brainworm of the week, as we do those, is probably Doors by Noah Kahan, the new song, because I've been listening to it on repeat for about a week and a half, I think. And it's more of an earworm than a brainworm.
Mm.
But yeah, I think that's probably my one this week.
See, I am a connoisseur of folk music. Gregory Alan Isakov is like consistently either my top two or top three artists in my Spotify Wrapped and just my Spotify Weekly. Like, I love that
hmm
man.
hmm
I, several people have told me that the new Noah Kahan album, that I'm going to absolutely positively love it, have been putting it off because I know it will rip me to shreds from the inside out. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes. Yeah, it will. It's heavy.
From the clips that I've heard, I have not disliked a single one. Like, even that one interlude, I'm like, okay, I'm vibing with this. But my girlfriend listened to it and she was like, "You're gonna love this album." I was like, I'm gonna hate listening to this album, but I'm gonna love it. I know. So I've been
Yeah.
putting it off for quite a while since it's been released, like a week or two ago.
Yeah, I don't remember when it came out, but yeah, I keep listening. I have like I think four of them on like my monthly playlist
Hmm.
that I kind of just listen to every day. But that one specifically has been getting traction in my house. It is very good.
Favorite line from the song? Go.
You put your money on red, I'm a sure bet at a losing streak. Guess who it makes me
Oh!
think about?
Oh!
Yes. Mr. Charles Leclerc, this is your song, I fear.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh. And especially after Miami. Oh, oh, brother. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah,
oh.
so that is part of the reason why I like did start being like, oh, this is a great song. But then I'm also like, I wake up and I'm singing it in my head. I'm like, this
Oh my
needs
God.
to leave me alone. But
See,
it's such a good song.
that's how I feel about Second Best by Last Dinner Party.
Oh, okay.
Ever since that song came out, I think the new album came out sometime like September or October. And once Oscar entered his flop era, that song just kept playing on repeat in my head. And I need
Mm,
so badly to like get my editing software out. I haven't edited since 2021
mm.
and make an edit for it. So
You should
keep
do
your eyes
that.
peeled for that.
I
But
support that.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, I'm Hayden, as Robin did mention. You can find me on TikTok at Hayden's.hyperfixations, on Twitter and Instagram at MCUATD. I have to undergo some renovations on both of those platforms. I renovated my Twitter a little bit, but I need to
hmm
change the username and everything. And my brainworm of the week is it's the Miami International Autodrome wrapped Indy car that was being sold at the F1 Miami store.
I remember seeing you post about that, and I was like, that quite possibly might be the best piece of merch, I
And
think, at a Grand Prix.
listen, it was $80.
What?
Unfortunately, I did leave the store with that because
I
it's just
don't blame
too
you.
funny to pass up.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's great.
so since we're talking about merch, I can do a full merch haul and I we can also
Please.
like kind of shift into what I did for the week because
Yes.
I was a bus, club, another club, next place, no sleep. Like we were on it. Okay.
Yeah,
So
don't worry. I have given you space to talk about the Mario Grand Prix because I want to hear everything as well. Like, I
I will go into
only know
every
like bits and
nitty-gritty
pieces.
detail
Yes,
possible. Okay,
please.
so I almost said Mardi Gras. The Grand Prix week. Wrong state. I almost said Mardi Gras. Oh my God. Again. The Grand Prix week for me started on Monday, April 27th. Yes, April 27th,
Mhm.
where I was actually invited by our very good friends over at Hilton to the
Huge.
McLaren Racing Live Hilton Honors Lawn, which I actually have all of my like bands and stuff for somewhere on my
Yes.
desk. Um, so I needed an outfit for that.
Mhm.
And I've said this before, but the Miami Grand Prix is like my home race.
Mm.
I lived 20 minutes away from the stadium. Like that's my home. I graduated high school there. That's my home. Like home race is taken to another level.
Yep.
So on Monday, I was like, they sent out an email with the itinerary, and they said the like the dress code was I think smart casual is what they said.
Right.
I don't have anything McLaren themed at all that's smart casual. So I had like a vision in my head when I was just going for like the free event with the general admission, whatever.
Hmm.
I had a vision and I elevated it a little bit. So first I was looking for a red top because I wanted it to match actually with this little like McLaren Ayrton Senna MP44 jacket back here. And of course you can't
Ah,
see it.
you can't
Hold
see the
on.
red, yeah.
Yeah. All right, for the listeners. So this is the one of the jackets from the Abercrombie McLaren collab, and it's got this
Gorgeous.
like, thank you. It's got this really like nice, di deep, rich red, and I wanted to do something that wasn't like, in your face throwing up papaya like orange
Yeah.
because it would clash with my hair, to be completely honest with you. So I decided to do something a little bit different. Um, I searched, I crap you not 2.5 hours for a red top. Two and a
Oh,
half hours. I went to Sawgrass Mill, which is like a very large mall close to my house.
yeah.
And if you know, you know. But I spent 2.5 hours there, almost three. I went to, I think, at least 12 different stores. I found maybe three things that I liked. One of them was too big, one of them was too small, and then the other one I found at TJ Maxx. Okay. So I tried it on. I finally got it. And by the time that I had found and like bought the shirt,
Yeah.
I was meeting up with my friend Kit, who also went to the Miami Grand Prix and the McLaren Racing Live event. I was meeting them for dinner at Texas Day Brazil because when I said Texas Day Brazil and I said, "Do you want Brazilian barbecue?" And they were like, "You are saying all my favorite words." So bought the shirt, went out to dinner with them, took them to a Hawaiian shave ice place that my father loves, again near our house.
Ah,
And
yes.
that was the end of that day.
Hmm.
Tuesday is the day that my girlfriend was flying in.
Hmm.
So I also had to find white pants for my like expanded vision of my outfit.
Okay.
Okay, so I want you to guess how long it took me at another mall by my house, Pembroke Gardens, if you know, you know, to find a pair of white, like wide leg pants.
I'm gonna say another 2.5 hours.
Closer to three, but yes. I don't know what it is about the weather or down here, or if there
Yeah.
was like no professional quote unquote business-ish stores that didn't have white pants in stock. Almost none of them did. So finally, I went to my homies at Ann Taylor. They were able to hook me up with some wonderful white pants, and I
Amazing.
had brought the shirt with me to all these places to like try it on and see if it fit and like how it worked together with like the actual shade of white.
Yeah.
And finally, I found two pairs at Ann Taylor where I put it on. I was like, these are the pants. And I was also wearing the same shoes that I was going to wear later the next
Yeah.
day for the actual event. Again, another 2.5, 3 hours wasted of my life walking
That's a
around an outdoor.
long time.
Yeah. So altogether, I spent 5 hours, 5.5 hours, give or take,
Yeah.
browsing for my outfit at the mall. And by that time, it was time to go pick up my girlfriend. So from the airport, which
Hmm.
actually at the airport, we're sitting there. I made a TikTok about this. We're sitting there. I'm scrolling my phone. I look up. I think to myself, that is Washington Capitals hockey player, Alexander Ovechkin, Ovi, standing outside of the JetBlue arrivals terminal at Fort Lauderdale Airport. But I don't say anything. I like keep it to myself. I'm like, there's no way. But I
Yeah.
notice when he's talking to like his assistant, wife, whoever, that he's missing his front tooth. And if you know anything about Ovi, he's missing his front tooth. Like that's his thing. That's one of his things. So then my girlfriend pipes up next to me and is like, are you? Is that Alexander Ovechkin right there?" And I was like, I didn't want to say anything, but I am 75% sure that that is Alexander Ovechkin, again, standing outside the baggage claim arrivals gate at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood Airport.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie. I took a sneaky little pic. I sent it to my family group chat. My girlfriend and I have a group of hockey friends that are like super into hockey. We send it to them and we go, "Is this Alexander Ovechkin?" And then immediately my brother texts back, "That is definitely him," in all caps. So then we're waiting there and we're like, "Oh my God, we are looking at Alexander Ovechkin outside of the JetBlue Arrivals Terminal at my home airport, Fort
Wow.
Lauderdale, Hollywood." And then a Mercedes Sprinter van came and whisked them away to wherever they were going. So that was Tuesday. This is like not
Crazy.
even like
Yeah.
official Grand Prix week.
Yeah.
And then after that, I take Liv, also my girlfriend, also to the Hawaiian Shave Ice place because we were hungry and we needed a snack.
Yep.
And then after that, we are like unpacking a little bit, we're catching up. And then Kit, also, who is also going to the Miami Grand Prix with us, I had breakfast or dinner with them the other night or the night before. So I say, I know a place where I could take you guys. So I took them to a German restaurant, Old Heidelberg, in like Dania Beach, all old German people. So we got schnitzel and spatula and sauerkraut and potato pancakes and spinach soup, and it was freaking awesome. Also, forgot to mention,
Fantastic.
not gonna lie, was fighting a cold like it was beating my ass.
Oh
Okay.
no.
So I was like going through this. I was like sniffling in the dressing rooms. I could barely taste my spinach soup when I was eating it. So I don't want to get Oscar Piastri sick. Okay, so
No,
I'm like
no.
speed running emergency and liquid IV to try and get this whatever this is out of me.
Mm-hmm.
We go to this German restaurant. We have the best time, best food, plenty leftovers. Come back, go to sleep.
Yep.
Wednesday, it is the day of McLaren Racing Live. Liv and I go to Little Hen, a brunch place also very close to my house. We have
Mm-hmm.
brunch, whatever. We had packed the night before, so we grabbed our bags and we drive to downtown Miami. Now, if you know anything about downtown Miami, you know that it is not a fun time to drive around there. So we specifically waited until it was after it was after rush hour, it was after, when people usually go to work.
Yeah.
So we drove down there, almost got into an accident multiple times, saw a four-car accident, like
Oh.
a fender bender, whatever, just taken up the middle of the road. And
Yeah.
um we went down there, we got down there finally, we checked into a hotel, um, and we were basically already ready for the day because we had gotten ready before we went to brunch. I'm
Mm-hmm.
rambling a little bit. Long story short, we kind of like wait around for a little bit, and then our friend Kit again comes to pick us up and take us to McLaren Racing Live. Now they had bought parking before, but what the parking people did not tell them is that like parking lot was not going to be accessible during like the event.
Oh.
So they were able to buy parking, weren't able to park there, and then had to park in Coconut Grove, which, if you know anything about that, is just not a great time. And they wasted $20. I think they got it back. I don't know. So anyway,
Hopefully.
long story short, we're at McLaren Racing Live. We are
Mm-hmm.
waiting for like an hour outside. There's zero breeze. It is so hot. We are about to pass out. And then the event finally starts. Gates open. We're ready to go. So we get in the gates. Because we were invited by Hilton, we got our special little bands. And then we were taken to like this little place right next to the VIP lounge, whatever.
Yeah.
So we get there. We are starving because we hadn't eaten since brunch. And
Yep.
the Hilton Honors Lawn had an Aperol Spritz bar. You know,
Oh.
I was spritzing up in that bitch. Okay,
As you should.
I apologize to future Robin for bleeping everything out, but like I was spritzing. It was getting crazy up in there. So there was actually a member of McLaren that was like coming out and maybe explaining to some people like, oh, here's the show run, here's the
Mm.
differences between like this year's cars and the last year's cars, and it was actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know his name. I don't remember his name. He was very nice though, and he had like a microphone and it was like a big presentation in it and everything.
Aw.
So right across from us is the hangar where all of the old car or the
Mm-hmm.
championship cars, whatever, that's where they were. So we're sitting there. I'm sipping on my like second or third Aperol Spritz. I'm like, guys, we should go to the hangar. I want to go see the cars. And everyone agrees, whatever.
Yep.
And then we leave. We're walking by, and there's like these two doors. There's one door to the left, one door to the right, and then next to the right door is a photo booth. We are walking towards the left side door, And then I see like a tiny little man, McLaren sweatshirt, looks like a deranged bumblebee. And I see him, I recognize him. I like hold Kit and Liv back, and I'm like, guys, that's Andrea Stella right there. Like he's like with bodyguards. So we didn't like get stopped from going in the same door as him, but
Yeah.
we did like almost bump into him going into the hangar to
No
like speak on
way.
the stage. I'm dead serious.
That's
And
crazy.
one thing about Andrea Stella is like I have my beef with him as a McLaren
Uh-huh.
fan,
Uh-huh.
but he's like a weird little Muppet to me. Like he just looks like a Muppet, and I kind of like him like that. So we
That's
decide to
a
go in.
great description, I think.
He
Yeah.
looks like a Muppet,
He
like his
does.
features.
Yeah.
Um, so after this, and there, I like take my hands down from holding the back, and I'm like, okay, let's go in the other door. So we go in the other door, and we're like walking around, and right when we come in, there's Tony Kanon is just like sitting by his Indy car. There's no one coming up to
Okay.
him or anything, and there's like a little like roped off section. He's just sitting in between there. Nobody's talking to him. Nobody's coming up to them.
Oh,
So he's just like kind of sitting there waiting for the show run. So it
yeah.
was Tony Kanon's IndyCar, or no, it was Ryan Hunter Ray's IndyCar. Tony Kanon was sitting next to it. Then
Right.
it was the MCL 39 from last year.
Hmm.
Then it was Mika Hakkinen's car, and then Emerson Fittipaldi's car, and then Ayrton Senna's car. No.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes, the MP46 was there, but it was like somewhere like in between.
Hmm.
So we're just like chilling, and someone's on stage. They're talking about golf clubs because they have this new McLaren golf thing that's coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I turn
I looked
around.
at the pricing of those.
I'm not gonna burden
It
myself with that.
what? No, I was just so I don't golf. I was just so curious. I think it was 360 for one golf club.
Uh,
Yeah.
oh my God. That's crazy. They just had like a set of the golf clubs just like next to the MCL 40, like right
Wow.
next to the stage.
Yeah.
So we are there's an announcer or whatever talking up the golf program or whatever. I'm next to the Indy car, and then I turn around, I look at the stage because I'm hearing something. I turn around, I swear to God, like across the room, who is it? Lando Norris.
Oh.
Bronzed, beautiful, gap tooth smiling, like talking with somebody. I
Oh
swear
my
to God,
Shayla.
I gasped.
I
People,
would.
many have said, many have said that they don't really understand how beautiful Lando Norris is until they see him in the flesh.
Yeah.
100% true. That man is a bronzed god. Okay, he is so beautifully tan and golden caramel crispy. Uh, I
I
was
cannot wait to see him in
I was
person.
lost for words. He was genuinely like so beautiful to see in
Oh
the
my,
flesh.
yeah.
And I go, I turn around, I do the same thing. I like hold Liv and Kit back, and I'm like, guys, that is Lando Norris right there. And they both turn around. And look, they're not McLaren fans. My girlfriend is a Mercedes fan. Our friend Kit is a Ferrari fan. And they're like, oh, they turn around and they stop and they're like, oh my God. And later, Kit tells me, I knew that people thought that Lando Norris was sexy. I did not see it until I saw him with my own two eyes.
Yeah.
There is just something magnetic about him. Again, so beautiful, caramel bronzed, amazing.
Amazing. Yeah.
So they call him up to promote the McLaren golf thing because obviously. Also,
Hmm.
Zach Brown is there. And
Well.
Lando, my little gremlin, he has just the most wonderful, cutest, impish smile that I have
I love
ever
his
seen.
smile
It makes
so much.
it makes me smile. Like
Yes.
that's my gremlin, that's my scrunkle, you know?
Yes.
And he was talking on the stage, and I was mesmerized. I like what everything else around me like kind of muffled out, and I was just listening to him. And this is a large hangar. So all of
Yeah.
the sound is like echoing everywhere. Very large hangar.
Yeah.
Could not take my eyes off of him. Like I am an Oscar Piastri girly, down always. There was just something about him. A beautiful, beautiful man. So then they have like the other McLaren golf athletes come up. Then it ends, and it they like leave, whatever. I assume to go
Mhm.
get ready for the show run. And I'm
Yeah.
after he leaves, I'm just kind of like standing there like I'm pretty sure I just witnessed a Greek god on that stage. I cannot emphasize to you how tan this man was. He was like
He tans so
so
easily.
well.
I am so jealous of him. I do not tan. And I hate him for the amount that he can tan so quickly and so strongly.
Again, I must emphasize. I just said it. I must say it again. I cannot emphasize to you enough how golden brown tan this man was. He was so beautiful that I was just kind of like struck for a second.
Yeah.
And then finally, like, someone taps me on the shoulder or whatever, and I move out of the way. And then we start looking at the cars. And then we go
Uh-huh.
see, like, Mika Hakkinen's car and Emerson Fittipaldi's car and then Ayrton Senna's car. And they're all, like, revving them up, too, because they have to make sure they obviously are working for the actual
Yeah.
show run.
Yeah.
And we're just, like, taking pictures, whatever. And then again, I noticed Tony Kanaan, who, for the listeners who aren't familiar, is the team principal of the Aero McLaren IndyCar team, just like sitting in the corner. He's not even on his phone. He's just kind of
That's
like staring at his shoes, staring
crazy.
at the wall. Like he's just there. And like I didn't want to say anything because he's very obviously like getting in the zone to drive this
Yeah.
like multi-million dollar car around this tiny little circuit, quote unquote. So we're like walking around and then we see the constructors trophy, we see Lando and Oscar's helmets. I take a photo shoot with Oscar's helmet.
I love that
And
picture of you.
thank you. I think I might make it my profile picture on Twitter.
Do it.
But we also take like pictures with the constructors trophy, and we take a group picture with the constructors trophy,
Hmm.
and then we like make our way back over to the Hilton Honors Lawn. The guy was back. We met up actually with a couple of mutuals from just Twitter, TikTok, wherever.
Hmm.
And then it was finally time. Like, okay, make your way over to the side of the whatever for the show run. And we are like, we're on the side with the fancy people is how I'm gonna put it. Because there's like the GA line. Also, we were so tired, and there was like a giant inflatable Lando monster like in our eye line. And I asked the Hilton Honors concierge, I was like, how can you get us three Lando monsters, please? Like, we are fiending for some sort of caffeine.
Yeah.
So every time, like, we were waiting to go into the grandstands, whatever, and that was in our view, and it was like Tantalus. It
Hmm.
was so we're waiting, and there's like almost like a commentary box in
Hmm.
between like one set of grandstands and another set of grandstands.
Right.
And I'm like going to say hi to my friend. I'm going to see like, oh, how does this grandstand work? How do we get bands for it? And I'm like running back and forth between my one friend who's in this grandstand and then Kit and my girlfriend who are there. And then I'm like running back and forth. And then my girlfriend like grabs my arm. She's like, look at that stage. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go find my friend, whatever. And she goes, no, Hayden, look at that stage. Who do I see? Oscar Piastri in the flesh. Oh my
Amazing.
God. I don't think I said a word for like 2 minutes because I was so transfixed by him. He is just so beautiful and pale and radiant and wonderful in real life. I cannot emphasize to you how like transfixed I was by this man. He
Yep.
was like doing an interview or something with David Coulthard maybe, but also David Coulthard was like walking around in our section, but nobody was like stopping him and taking pictures with him.
What?
Nobody recognized David Coulthard.
What?
Yeah.
What?
We were at the Hilton Honors Lawn. I was talking to to my mutual Andrea, and she was like, "Oh yeah." And then we were with our other friend Bella, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I just met David Coulthard." And I was like, "Excuse
Huh?
me?" And she was like, "Yeah, he's just walking around with a Marlins baseball shirt, like baseball jersey on." I was like, what the heck are you talking about?" And then she's like, "Yeah, like no, he's just walking around. Nobody's going up to him and stopping him." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?
What?
Nobody at a McLaren event is stopping David Coulthard for a selfie or like a signature or anything.
That's crazy.
Bonkers to me." But that's besides the point. Back to Oscar
Yeah.
Piastri. Um,
Yes.
he, I, and he was wearing that stupid McLaren shirt, the 1000 GP shirt. I don't know
Tony
why
the
this.
Tiger.
Just terrible. Love and
To be
light to
fair,
the
I
merch
will say
designers.
it did kind of grow on me when I saw them in it. Like actually like in proper lighting,
Yeah.
not the weird lighting that the McLaren photo shoots are always in that just makes all of them look
Like
terrible.
yellow and ugh.
What is I but they did grow on me. They're still
Mm.
not great much, but I will say in like natural lighting, they did look okay.
Yeah, okay. I will have to agree with that, but
Yes.
also I am maybe a little bit biased. So finally, I'm like, it's registering in my head, like, oh my God, Oscar Piastri is right there. So then he
Hmm.
says like goodbye to the interview or whatever, and then he's being like led out of the little commentary box back to the hangar to, again, I assume get ready for whatever.
Hmm.
So he comes like, I want to say maybe 6 feet in front of me. He's like being flanked by all these children and these bodyguards, and I'm like, I cannot push through those people. I
No.
I simply can't. So unfortunately, I did not meet Oscar Piastri. However, I was in his presence, and it was radiant. I can confirm
That's
that.
something. Better than nothing.
Yeah. So then we did
Yeah.
the show around. We saw old cars. I'm kidding.
Amazing.
Um, the first one to come out was Emerson Fittipaldi, and I'll be
Hmm.
honest, I have not researched very much about Emerson Fittipaldi, but hearing that car, I always think F1 cars from like the 70s and the 80s are like so ridiculous and sometimes silly. Like that one Ferrari, I don't remember what generation it is, but with like the funky looking airbox. And Emerson Fittipaldi's car was one of those funky looking 70s and 80s cars. So it was kind of
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
It almost looked like, if you know, it looked like the McLaren tuned version of a car. Like that kind of blocky, almost cartoonish, like, but sounded great. I
Yeah.
absolutely loved watching it. And then Bruno Senna came out in the MP6 or 46.
Mm.
And again, just hearing it and seeing it go across the track or wherever they had blocked off was just, again, absolutely incredible. Then
Hmm.
Mika Hakkinen came out in his championship winning car. It was I love Mika Hakkinen. That
Hmm.
was probably one of the greatest experiences of my life. Being able to see that car, especially like
Yeah.
on track. And then Oscar came out in Lewis's championship winning car. You have got to be kidding me. I literally almost started crying. When he came out and you heard the scream of that engine, I swear to God, I
Yep.
teared up. It was again one of the most thrilling experiences of my life, hearing
I
that
can
like with my
imagine.
own two ears.
Yeah.
And then side note, I got posted in one of his Instagram dumps. I am like very
Hmm.
much in the background. You can see because I have a red shirt on. I
Yeah.
didn't want I The problem with the red shirt is that I couldn't take off my jacket, otherwise it would look like I was a Ferrari fan. But
Mm.
it just had to like work with the jacket.
Yeah.
So I was boiling hot, but you can very clearly see me in my like
It
flaming red shirt, like in the
it
background.
helps.
It does.
Yeah.
In the background with the Hilton hat on. Oh, also we got Hilton merch thanks to
Oh,
our wonderful friends at Hilton.
amazing.
And hang on, I can show it to the listeners, but I will do a full merch haul later. But it's this very cute, like bespoke Hilton X McLaren hat. It's
Oh,
got like a
that's
little
lush.
I know. It's got like a little like orange strip around the
I
side, but
love when the
it's
hats do that, when it's literally
yes.
just the very edge of the
Hmm.
like front of the cap that you can see the color in, and then it's all just
I think
yeah.
I think Mercedes did that with one of their hats this year too. But it's
Mm.
so cute. It's got for the stay on the side, and then it's
Ah,
got the Hilton logo on the other side. Um,
amazing.
I was wearing that hat, and
Hmm.
you could see, I just had the biggest, corniest smile on my face. Like, I was so happy to be there. And
Yep.
then he did like a couple laps around, and then he like almost hit the barriers with the car at one point. Everybody did laugh, but everyone was kind of concerned because Mika Hakkinen did
Well,
actually stall his car and it had to be like taken back to the garage.
oh,
Yeah, I don't think they televised that, but it did, and it was awesome because you heard like the roar, but then
yeah.
you heard it stop, and he like could not get it to work again, so they had to wheel him away.
Ooh,
But
yeah.
it was awesome. He went back into the pits, and that well pits,
Yeah.
and then Lando came out in the MCL. I can't remember if it was the MCL 39. I think it was the MCL 39 because I don't think
Uh-huh.
long story short, they can't do track time outside of like designated spots they
Yeah,
only have a
I
couple times a
imagine
year.
it's
So I think it was last
yeah.
year's. But he came out and he did that. He was going back and forth like around us. And it like hit me then. Like I was going to be seeing those cars on track for the
Yeah.
entire weekend or like a similar generation of car.
Yeah.
And again, very emotional, like, oh my God, this is happening right now. So then also they said they couldn't do donuts, which made me really sad because I was really looking forward to seeing donuts in front of
No.
me.
Yeah.
But then Lando parked like up at the front, and then Oscar and Lewis's car, then Mika, Bruno, and then Emerson Fittipaldi.
Yeah.
And they did like a whole thing where they walked up to the stage, and then they had a little like moment where they talked about what it was like to be back in the cars and whatever. And then they like exploded papaya dust somewhere, and then that part was over. And
Yeah.
then we could do a grid walk. So we walked up and down between the cars. I took a couple pictures with them. And
Yeah.
then the two sides of McLaren Racing Live were separated. So there was the north side and the south side. And the
Hmm.
south side was closed for access. Like you couldn't cross over
Right.
until after the actual show run. So
Right.
for the first like 5 or 6 hours of that event, we were the only people, like the north side were the only people that had access to the hangar and could like see the cars and do the
Oh.
so it was crazy, and I only realized that like about 3 hours in. And
Yeah.
it was incredible. I cannot believe I got to see Lando Norris in person. I can't believe I got to see Oscar Piastri in person. Forget all
Yeah.
that. But after that, we were able to walk over where they had all of these amazing collabs. They had the Lando Monster truck. I did get a free Lando Monster. It was awesome.
Amazing.
And then they had the Rice X McLaren collab. Like they had a truck. Most of that
I
stuff,
love those pieces of merch.
they are so beautiful and they were such good quality.
Yeah.
However, like very expensive. I'm not
Oh
gonna
yeah, the
lie to
price
you.
tags are
Yeah.
so
So
expensive.
I actually have what I got right next to me here. I'm gonna be transparent with you because like none of the stuff was gifted. The only thing that was quote unquote free was the Hilton Honors Pass,
Mhm.
and I spent basically all of my own money everywhere.
Okay.
And again, I want
Yeah.
to be very transparent about this because sometimes people aren't very transparent. And they're like, oh, but
Yeah.
anyway, this was not gifted. So I spent. I do have to preface that I had just had to quit my job and I got my final paycheck. No, that was a couple days later, but like I had final paycheck to burn. But I
Yeah.
spent $180 on two items. Okay.
Woof.
Yeah. But I
Woof.
will say they were so cute and I had had my eyes
Yeah.
on them for a long time. Also, a lot of
Mhm.
the stuff that they had at the truck for the collab was sold out online. Like you couldn't find it anywhere. So that
Oh,
was like
okay. Yeah, at
I
that
understand it
point.
then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first thing I got was this absolutely adorable Rice X McLaren top.
Oh
I
lush.
I couldn't try it on then, but I tried it on the morning after. It fit
Yeah.
like a glove. Like
Amazing.
I love the embroidered thing on
Yeah.
the chest right here. I do wish they had a black version, but honestly the white version just works just as well. And then on the back it has Rice X McLaren Formula 1 team.
Cute. Very cute.
Also, the tag thing that has Rice X McLaren is all like fashion with speed marks and it's kind of clear. Um, this is $85. So got my money's worth, I think. But like adorable, and
It's
it's
very
got this
nice.
like waffle print kind of like thing up
Oh
there.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And then the second thing I got was this McLaren racing hat. This was the more expensive item of the two.
That's such a nice hat.
I think this was 75
Uh-huh.
maybe. 50, 60, 70, something like that.
Yeah.
But it has McLaren Racing in this like script font at the front,
Yeah.
and that has Rice on the side and the New Era logo on the other
Hmm.
side. And then of course, the McLaren Racing tag on the
Oh,
back,
yep,
and
yep, yep.
then official like this is official McLaren merchandise like stuff.
Cute. Yeah.
So that's what I got from there. And then I checked out. We were leaving, and then we stopped by the Liquid IV truck because Liquid
Okay.
IV, literally like the day before, had been announced as a new McLaren partner. I love Liquid IV. I
Hmm.
have it at least once a day.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna lie to you because I work out a lot. Like I need a lot of electrolytes, whatever. But we got three free Liquid IV packets and a very very nice water bottle that I don't have on me right now. But it is like they'd be charging $60 for it. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it's very very nice. It's
Yeah.
over for the listeners. It's like back behind me somewhere.
Right.
We got that
Mm.
stuff, and then we were leaving, and there was like a truck almost with posters. I'm a sucker for a poster,
I
so
love posters.
I got an Oscar poster,
Hmm.
a McLaren Miami poster,
Hmm.
and a 1000 GP poster
Okay.
with Lando and Oscar on it.
Yeah.
That was the end of that night. We went to bed, we woke up, we left our hotel
Hmm.
to drive back to Fort Lauderdale, where I'm from. And that's when I tried on the tank top. That's
Hmm.
when I realized it fit, like so cute. And this is Thursday now, I forgot to say.
Yes.
Um, yes. So we kind of like waffled around a little bit. We unpacked, we got some stuff ready for the actual Grand Prix where we picked up our other friend, Tally, from the airport.
Mm. Hmm.
That's when we saw that's when we had the Alexander Ovechkin encounter. Still don't know how that happened. Um, and we were texting her, and she was like, "I can't believe he stole the spotlight from me." Because yes, what? What is the
How
truth,
dare he?
Obi? So after that, I took Tally to my house to get settled, drop our bags off, whatever, and then we went out to dinner again.
Hmm.
And we were like, I took them to this place that is very near and dear to my heart. And if you are from Fort Lauderdale or like South Florida at all, you'll know this place. It's called Jackson's. Okay. It's like
Hmm.
this really kitschy, like vintage, almost like uh, a tchotchke shop, I want to say.
Hmm.
That's like a candy store on the front. And then they have all homemade ice cream with like Jewish deli food. It was
Oh,
freaking
cute.
awesome.
Yeah.
So we went there. We took pictures. Like they have a merry-go-round and they have like a
Aw.
Sunday thing. So we all took pictures there and that was fun. And
Yeah.
then here's where the transition comes in. We reach full on Miami Grand Prix weekend. So
Yes.
Friday was the extended free practice session
Yes.
with sprint qualifying. And then just before I move on, I do again want to thank profusely Hilton for this opportunity to go
Yes.
to the McLaren Racing live event at the Hilton Honors Lawn because honestly, I had such a wonderful time. It was such a well put together event. There were like little canapes being passed around.
Oh,
There was a Wagyu taco thing that I still think about. It is so good. It was Wagyu tartare. Oh my God, I was in
that
heaven.
sounds incredible.
That plus the Aperol Spritz bar. Plus
Oh,
there was also an open bar next to it where you could get whatever drink you made. That wasn't an
incredible.
Aperol Spritz. Amazing. Like I had
Yeah.
such a great time and everyone there was so nice. And actually met the admin, the community manager for
Yeah.
Hilton. So wonderfully nice. He
You
gave
made it
me
on their TikTok.
Yes, I was on their TikTok. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I got it on my feed and I was like, that's Hayden.
They gave me a friendship bracelet that says "Stay like a winner." I wore it the
Oh,
entire weekend, and they were so nice. It was so nice to meet them and meet other creators that had also been invited by Hilton. It was
yeah.
amazing. It's crazy to think that posting videos just gets you sometimes
Yeah. It's
results and stuff
crazy.
like that. Um, I'm so grateful. It was so amazing, and of course, like I I couldn't just I don't have words for it. Um, but moving back to the
Hmm.
actual Grand Prix weekend, the first day, of course, is extended free practice session and sprint qualifying.
Yep.
And there were some good support series at this race specifically. One thing I
Hmm.
want to call out is the F2 sprint, or no, F2 qualifying. They had practice in the morning where apparently Big Bumbleclot like messed it into the wall during practice or qualifying, I don't remember, but he wasn't on pole, it was Kushmini. He was like fourth or fifth, maybe? I don't know, I don't remember.
Hmm.
But they were doing their qualifying when we were sitting there. So how parking worked. I This is like also like kind of like a full race weekend review kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I also want to talk about like logistics for parking. We were in
Okay.
the Marina Grandstands 6, 7, and 8, and we kept on doing 6, 7 all weekend, unfortunately, like teenagers. Um, but how parking works, I think it's a little bit different this year, but where your grandstand or your GA pass is, basically your seat determines what parking lot you park at. So
Right.
because we were in this specific grandstand, we got put in lot 50, which is
Right.
about 20 minutes away from my house on 75 in the Sawgrass to St. Thomas University. Shout out to St. Thomas. We Everything was super organized. The first day they did not scan our pass though, so theoretically we could have gotten free parking, but
Oh,
unfortunately, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I did buy
yeah.
parking. I would just like to say that so no one comes
Proud of
after
you.
me. Thank you. We were able to get to the parking lot, and there were shuttle buses that took maybe 20 minutes ish
Mm-hmm.
to the like a another parking lot, and then we had like maybe a 10-minute walk to the stadium. But we were walking, they dropped us off. Technically, the first day nobody knew what was happening, or at least our driver
Right.
didn't know what was happening, so they dropped us off at the wrong place. But
Oh
as
no.
we were, yeah, but as we were walking to the gates to get in, I heard the Formula 2 cars because I think that's when their qualifying was going on.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, I legitimately teared up again. But one thing, this is like a theme throughout the entire weekend. It was so, so, so unbelievably hot. Like we were standing in
Yeah.
line waiting to get into the gates, and I just felt sweat dripping down my back because
Oh.
I was in my Williams jersey, just so hot, and people were cutting
Yeah.
in line, and no one knew what was happening, and
Yeah.
so that part maybe like kind of a mess. I think
Mm-hmm.
getting to the stadium was logistically pretty sound, but actual crowd control at the stadium
Yeah.
maybe needs a little bit of work.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also because the bus drivers didn't know where to drop people off, so they just
That
dropped
also
them off.
doesn't help. Yeah.
Yeah, by like that one main gate that is like where everybody goes in. So
Right.
that is also like, but again,
Yeah.
logistically very sound. So
Mm-hmm.
finally we get in, we get our tickets. We make our way to our grandstand, but we first hydrate at the water filling stations. Another thing about the water
Mm-hmm.
filling station is that throughout the weekend or throughout the day, the water would get progressively hotter. So at
Oh.
times it was just like you were drinking like almost like water that had just come out of a kettle. But
Oh,
yeah,
really?
it was kind of gross, but you got to do what you got to do. So anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. We get to our grandstands. We
Yep.
watch like the last 10, 15 minutes of F2 qualifying, and it's just an incredible experience watching like Formula 2 cars because I had like known people in Formula 2 and I knew things from like mutuals and
Yeah,
posting
yeah.
and whatever, like they retweet and whatever. But seeing those cars, also, I'm obsessed with Colton Herta. My girlfriend can tell you that. So I was constantly like, "Where's Colton? Where's Colton
Yeah.
Herta? Where's Colton Herta?" And he unfortunately did not wind up qualifying very well. I think he qualified like 14th or something
Oh,
after being first in their one practice. So I don't know how that worked.
yeah.
But I still got to see a lot of good racing from him throughout the weekend. So we watched that, and then I think there were like hot laps, I think, or there were like sometimes some of the teams with their invited guests, they would get to do hot laps, or they call them like Cadillac
Okay.
laps. So sometimes they would do that in between. And
Yeah.
then the first like extended free practice happened. So we
Yep.
are there like the whole time. We're watching everything. We're watching people like go around track. And again, that's when it hits me like I'm going to be seeing this race in
Yeah.
person live. Like we were at turns 6, 7, and 8. So we didn't have like great seats. We didn't have like a corner that got very much action,
Yeah.
but we did have like we were almost like a like at the parabolica, if you know what I mean. So you get to
Hmm.
see the cars for a long time
Yeah.
and they don't like shoot by you at like they do at some of the other grandstands.
Yeah.
So we watched that. The the Mercedes are good, the McLarens are good, Red Bulls are like better than they have been. And then we get like a couple hours break and then we're like, okay, we'll go walk around. That was a terrible idea because I think I'm again born and raised South Florida, Miami, Fort
Yeah.
Lauderdale. That I think is probably the hottest I've ever been at an outdoor event. Because think about it,
Really?
the the event, say what you will about it, the event takes place in the parking lot, technically, of Hard Rock Stadium. So it is like black tarmac. It is
Oh,
just
yeah.
so unbelievably hot.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about color theory,
Mm.
black tarmac absorbs heat, whereas white tarmac obviously like reflects it. It was so unbelievably hot, and there were so many people trying to get around. So we walk from our grandstand to the stadium to kind of like walk around, see inside the paddock, like see if we can see anybody getting ready for
Yeah.
or spring quali or whatever. And we just have to like kind of sit there for a good, I want to say like 30 minutes to an hour because it just took
Really?
so much out of us to get
Yeah.
over there. And also, you have to go up like a really scary escalator. It's literally like there's no escalator going down. It's just the one that goes to the 200 level, which was closed off
Right.
because that's where like all the teams did their media and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, there was the super scary escalator that wasn't super high, and then the super scary escalator that goes like up into the nosebleeds, and that's where we
Yeah.
were to see like inside of the paddock. And again, we spent like half an hour, maybe an hour there, and then we were walking back and to make it in time for actual sprint
Yeah.
quali. And by the time we got there, we were, I swear to God, all three of us legitimately were about to pass out. It was so hot. Liv
Oh
looked at
God.
her because she had like a Samsung watch or a Samsung
Yeah.
watch or whatever. At one point, her heart rate was 163. It was so hot. And we looked at each other after we got back to our grandstands. We were like huffing and puffing. And we looked at each other and we were like, okay, we're not doing that again.
No. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So then sprint quality happens.
Yep.
Lando's on pole. Oscar is, where did he qualify for the sprint? I don't remember.
Sprint third.
Third? Okay. So he was still like on the podium for the actual sprint,
Yep.
before the sprint. But after that, like that whole fanfare happens and we kind of like wait out the crowds a little bit. So we're
Hmm.
watching like the Porsche Carreras, we're watching the McLaren Trophy America kind of go by, and then there's more hot laps per se.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, let's leave now once the
Yeah.
crowds had all died down. So we got back to the shuttle. It was like another 10-20 minute walk. Walked back to my car, got in there, went home, got dinner,
Yeah.
got Pollo Tropical actually.
Yeah. Nice.
And then the next day happens. So
Yes.
pit stop. What do we think about free practice one and sprint qualifying?
I I enjoy listening to them because obviously I was watching it on television.
Hmm.
I enjoyed listening to them talking about the Red Bull wing
Mm.
because they kept coming up with names for it. By the end of the weekend, it was the Max Arena wing.
Wait, okay. Wait. Were you listening to F1 TV or Sky? Because
Sky.
we were listening to, they were broadcasting the F1 TV like on a screen next
Yeah.
to us. I cannot, Max Arena a wing is so funny.
During the free practice, Ted was calling it the Mega Macarena to like differentiate it from the Macarena, which was obviously Ferrari.
Yeah.
Because it that gap was huge. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was a massive like rear wing gap. But
Someone, one of my mutuals on TikTok did a video of like taking a nap in between the gap between the Max Arena wing
Ted
and the...
Kravitz thinks he could fit his head inside of it just for
Really?
that was every single time it was brought up over the weekend, someone mentioned Ted's head being like saying that he could put his head inside of it. It was really funny.
But that's so interesting because thinking back to what Ferrari has done with their Macarena wing,
Mm,
it's like, I want to say
yeah.
that's
But yeah, I
crazy.
don't think anyone could actually fit their head in it, but it was just, it looked so big that everyone was like, this is ridiculous. Because it's about double the size of Ferraris.
That's crazy.
It's
But I think
huge.
it also makes sense because I think what, rumors have said around the paddock is that their engine, like the Red Bull Ford powertrain, is the second best next to Mercedes. It's just
Mm.
the aero
Oh yeah,
of
the chassis
the,
just sucks,
yeah,
yeah.
it just sucks booty cheeks,
Yeah.
speaking plainly.
Yeah.
So because it's like it must convert some of that drag or get some of that dirty air out
Mm.
from the side pods and like how they're angled. I don't know. I never took physics. But long
I
story
don't know how
short,
these cars work really.
long story short, it seems to have worked.
It does seem to have worked. They went very quickly
Hmm.
last weekend. That was last
To
weekend,
the
weekend
point,
before? I don't remember
yeah,
when it was.
weekend. To the point where spoilers, Max was second on in quali for the actual race, which is crazy.
That was
Um,
ridiculous. Yeah, we'll
but
get on to that because quali was
yeah,
insane.
quali
But
was a mess, to be honest with you.
yeah.
But
But
one thing I want to point out, no, that's the actual sprint race. So going back to my story counting,
hmm.
again, I'm rambling. I tend to do this. So unfortunately for the listeners, or fortunately, if you like to listen to a podcast, which I assume you do because you're listening to
Well,
Double
I hope so.
DSQ. um, but second day, it's Saturday.
Mhm.
Thankfully, also, I want to note that there was like basically zero traffic heading
Oh,
into
that's
at least where
nice.
our parking lot was, and
Yeah.
that was my main worry,
Mm.
especially on Friday because we had to like beat the rush hour traffic crowd because it was still a work day.
Yeah.
But traffic aside, like it was still pretty easy to get to the actual parking lot.
Hmm.
Same thing, park, get on a shuttle, drop us up at the other parking lot, and then we walk to the stadium. And then
Yeah.
at that point, I was kind of mad because also to the kind of logistics point, the doors, the gates actual for the actual like how do I want to say this? The actual stadium opened at 10 o'clock, and they also had scheduled the F2 sprint race to start at 10 o'clock.
What?
I'm sorry. I wanted to go see Colton Herta on the track, and you're telling me I
Yeah.
can't unless I get there at freaking 9 o'clock in the morning? And also, let's not forget, this is Formula Two's first time on American
Yeah.
soil, and you're basically gonna like wreck your viewership or your in-person viewership by putting the sprint race at the same time that the actual like admission gates open? Are you stupid?
Yeah.
So,
That's really stupid.
yeah, I don't know why they did that. Maybe it was just like in case things got moved around for weather, but we were able to catch like maybe the last 20 laps of the actual sprint race
Okay.
where Colton Herta was, I believe, P12 or maybe
Hmm.
he did score points in the actual feature race, but not the sprint race,
Yes.
unfortunately. But Big Bombaklat won the sprint race. Good for him. We got to hear the Bulgarian national anthem, and I did make several Big Bombaklat jokes in my grandstand, and I'm pretty sure Liv and Tally were tired of me. But after that, the actual sprint race started at like 12-ish. So
Hmm.
we went and got food for lunch. And also, I would like to say those food prices were highway robbery. I paid 24 American dollars for a singular smash burger with
That's
cheese.
insane.
No fries, no drink included. $24 for a bun and two patties with cheese in between. And onions
That's
if you wanted it.
insane.
I bought Liv lunch the day before on Friday,
Yeah.
and I got the burgers like all 3 days because also you weren't allowed to bring in any food unless
Wait,
you had
really?
allergies. Zero food. Like I was planning on taking in pub subs until I learned that rule, or pub subs, Publix subs like from the deli, but
Yeah.
you could not take in any food, and the fare that you were given $24 burgers. So
That's ridiculous.
I ate my $24 burger as I waited for the sprint race to start.
Yeah.
And again, pit stop. Let's talk about the sprint race this weekend. What did you think about it?
I I enjoyed it. It was it was the Oscar Lando Charles podium that I wanted, just not the right kind of podium. I don't like count sprint podiums in my head because they don't do anything. They stand
Yeah.
there with a little tiny plaque and just get however many more points depending on where they come. Like it's a boring podium.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will say I did enjoy seeing them together.
Yeah.
That was fun. But I'm still baffled about how they handled the Alex Albon lap time debacle thing.
That was
Because
crazy.
if I was Liam, I'd be so angry.
I would be so unbelievably pissed. Which, yeah, let's talk about how Gabriel Borletto was disqualified from sprint qualifying. He
Yes.
he qualified like what, P11, P12, like pretty far
Yeah.
up there, and then he was disqualified because of infringements with the rear wing or something. Or no, maybe it was
It
the
engine pressure. Engine
engine pressure.
pressure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he got
Yes.
disqualified for that. Also, on the way to the sprint race, I was running to when they were like doing laps to the actual grid, which I was like crossing my fingers. I was like, Oscar, please don't mess this up in front of me. I remember I was on my way to the bathroom
Yeah.
and I saw Hulkenberg's Audi going across, and I swear to God, I was like in my head, I was like, there's smoke coming out of the back of that Audi. And I just talked it up to like, brake discs warming up or whatever. No, I
Yeah.
get back from the bathroom. Nico Hulkenberg's car, I saw videos, it's literally on
It was on
fire.
fire. Yeah,
It
it was
was
on
a
fire.
flame in the pit or on the
Yeah.
actual starting grid. And I don't want to say I called it. I don't want to say I have eagle eyes, But I did see that before it was hashtag televised.
Yeah,
Um,
Audi were in the
Howdy, they were
trenches.
just, and the thing is, they were doing so well.
They
It's
were
just
doing great.
the reliability is just
Yeah.
garbage, and I feel so bad for them because they are Aston Martin, who people thought Aston Martin were gonna be, I think.
Mm,
And they're
yeah.
like fighting for points, barring some terrible strategy and bad luck. But they
Yeah.
are like pretty solid. When they're good, they're good. Like they
Mm,
got points on debut, even
mm-hmm.
if one of their cars didn't start the race. But
Well,
it's
yeah.
just the reliability has just not been great, as will
No.
further be demonstrated later in the day. But
Yes.
the actual race, like the sprint race, was not like a terrible sprint race as
No.
it has been.
They're all kind of like sprint races in general are very formational
Yeah, there's
because people
like,
don't want to push because they don't want to risk the car for
yeah,
qualifying. And
hmm
I mean, Williams treated it as another testing session
free
again
him.
by
What,
pitting Alex for a wing when he was
what,
15th and he went last.
what is going on at the
I don't
Williams
know.
garage?
I do not know.
It confuses me. It makes me angry because they have two very strong drivers in their car,
Mm,
multiple race winner in Carlos Sainz, and a
would be
very
multiple
good,
race winner.
yes, would be multiple race winner Alex Albon.
Yeah.
Very solid midfield driver.
Yep.
Dragged that car up to P4 last year in like the fifth or sixth race,
Yeah.
and you're making him pit. I'm talking about what happened previously, but you're making him pit 6 times in one race to
Yeah.
make a new record for how many. I like Williams as like a concept. I have beef with them for
Yes.
how they treated my cousin Logan Sargent
Yes.
and what they're doing to Alex Albon.
Yep.
What the heck are they doing?
I do
I
not
know
know.
they've had a rough season. I know they've been off to a rough start, but this is like there has to be a line somewhere. Um,
Yeah, I don't get it. But yeah, that is in my notes. My another thing in my notes is Kimmy track limits penalty.
yes! Oh my
Yep.
goodness. So Kimi was fourth, and then
Kimmy was
after the
fourth.
race, they get he gets bumped down to sixth because
Yeah.
he had exceeded track limits at a
Yep.
certain point. Why don't you go ahead and discuss that? I think.
I'm not gonna say it wasn't deserved. He was obviously going off track. I do love him, but also Kimmy,
Yeah.
learn to be on the track. Um, but because of that, Max came fifth. Like
Mm-hmm.
Max.
Smells like promotion. We were
Yeah,
still
Max.
at the track when it
Yeah.
happened, and surprisingly, our cell service was pretty good. So we were getting like
Oh
live
yeah.
updates from the actual F1 app.
Yeah.
And we were there like waiting for qualifying to start because I think it started at either 2 or 4 or something.
It
But
felt
we
like
had like a
yeah.
yeah, sometime like that.
Yeah.
Um, but we were kind of watching the support series, and then that notification comes through, and we're
Mm.
like, okay, what the heck?
Yeah.
Also, before we move on to actual quality for the weekend, I do want to say I absolutely love the sprint plaques because it has the Miami Dolphins logo on them, and it made
Oh.
me very happy.
Yeah.
And they actually got one of the astronauts from Artemis 2
Yes.
to present the winning one to Lando.
Yes. That
Just
was
all
cool.
around excellent sprint
Mm.
podium in all facets, I believe. And Oscar
Yeah.
came second,
He
and I'm
did.
very happy about that. Listen, say what you will about Oscar Piastri, say what you will about his season last season. I know my goat.
Yeah.
Okay, I know my goat. I know him deep in my soul. I know that's what he's capable of. Only had one Grand Prix start before this, by the way.
Yeah.
One sprint race and one Grand Prix start, and he's placing second in a sprint race after putting it third
Hmm.
after only having a sprint race and one singular Grand Prix under his belt.
Yep.
I don't want to say goat, but like that's my goat.
McLaren has such a great sprint. And then
Oh,
and then you get to
what?
qualifying like 3 hours later and they've just flipped a switch and have
Let me tell
gone
you,
back down somehow.
when
I was
I
so confused watching qualifying. I was stressed. I was as I was watching Oscar struggle to stay.
Oh my God.
in
Don't even get me
out of the
started.
elimination zone, I was actively thinking, what is Hayden doing? Like, how is Hayden
I,
going out?
okay. I was like, I was sitting there. I swear to God, I was legitimately about to throw up because this is like after, the Aston Martins and the Cadillacs, they're basically like the bottom four. And then
Yep.
it was like Williams, the two V carbs, and Oscar, what are you doing here
Yeah.
in the drop zone? So Oscar is just like in the trenches with the car.
Yep.
He's not setting very competitive lap times. He's like at one point he was ninth, I think. I think the
Hmm.
the highest he placed was seventh, and then he started getting bumped down and down and down and down and down until finally he was like 15th, and then Alex Albon bumps him out to 16th. When I tell you I was legitimately about to throw up, I'm pretty sure there's a picture of me of somewhere with like my head in my hands like this because Arvid Lindblad was also on a lap.
Yeah.
He was like, "Ugh, I don't want to think about the amount of like milliseconds between them, but he was very, very close to being out in Q1.
Mm. He was very
I
close.
When I was watching that, my heart, I legit not only was I feeling like I was about to throw up,
Yep.
my there was a pit in my stomach. My heart was beating out of
Yep.
my chest. I think you could have heard it. Like if you didn't have your ear to my chest, you could have heard my heart beating.
Yeah.
And when finally Arvid, much love to him, when
Yep.
he finished his lap and Oscar scraped through by the skin of his teeth, I audibly let out like a sigh. And I felt like a marionette whose strings had been cut because of how
Yep.
much I had like released. Because seeing that happen in person has to be top 10 worst experiences of my
Yeah.
life.
I can
Very,
imagine.
very, very, very proud of my goat for getting through by
Yep.
the skin of his teeth. Again, much love to Arvid Lindblad. Very glad you didn't knock him out.
Yep.
But whoever wrote that in the script for the weekend, what is wrong with you?
His radio message was really funny.
His radios crack me up because what do you mean? What do you mean?
He is so
Oh,
funny. He is like he's genuinely so funny.
he's genuinely one of the funniest people on this earth. He's so deadpan and funny, but like,
Yes.
I'm just
Exactly.
remembering like being back in that moment and him also getting knocked out.
I'm really
Oh,
sorry.
oh my God. I have the heebie-jeebies because also he was like in the drop zone and then he also did a lap that only put him up to like 15th. And then Alex Albon did that and then he got pushed into 16th, which speaking of Alex Albon, let's talk about that. What the heck is going on in the steward's room?
I I don't know. I really don't know. It,
And I remember because Liam Lawson, because in between Q1 and Q2,
yep.
they still showed him like in the car, like ready to go. And I was like, that's weird. Why, if he's bumped
Mm,
out in Q1, why is he still like, why is he all suited up and like ready and waiting in the car? And now all of a sudden, it comes out friggin' 2 hours after quali that Alex Albon exceeded track limits and shouldn't have been bumped through the Q2. And like,
yeah.
I'll be honest, I was celebrating because like, oh, the Williams aren't out in Q1. Like that's some sort of progress that they're making. But for it to there's been a trend recently, and even in the race, which I'm sure we're going to talk about,
Mhm.
where things have happened in
Mhm.
quali, in the race, whatever, and they aren't addressed until like multiple hours afterward.
It's the things like track limits, like impeding, like that sort of thing that you can. There are so many cameras at these tracks. There are
Mm-hmm.
so many angles, and like the pit lane white line,
Yeah.
like there are so many angles on all of these that it genuinely baffles me how it takes them so long to come to these conclusions because
Yeah.
they could have pulled up every angle of Alex when of where he should have been, like where he went off track when he went out of limits. They could have pulled up every angle of that and seen that he went off because it's obvious when a car goes off track.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it like because you can see the white line on the other side of the wheel. like like it. there are so many angles that it should not take them 2 hours until 2 hours after the session has ended for them to like adjudicate these things.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And Alex was like, did not get through by the skin of his teeth either. He was like
No.
14th or 15th.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be starting 14th, I believe is where he qualified or put the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
Again, love Alex, but Liam was supposed to go through into Q2.
Yeah.
So what they did was they wound up bumping Alex back to P17 and then him up to P16 or maybe P15. Uh, I don't know. It was so ridiculous and
Yeah.
just emphasizes some of the problems that have been going on with the stewards for the last
Yeah.
couple races, and I think a little bit last year too, because they had a bunch of things where there was like when I don't remember what race it was. Maybe it was Singapore, but both the Williams were disqualified like 4 hours after the race and whatever. And I get that's like a technical infraction, but still, it's the principle of the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how that was allowed to happen, but
But also these cars are checked so soon after
yeah,
races
like
that
they
I don't
cannot get out.
understand how it takes this long.
Yeah, they cannot get out of the car without getting weighed.
No.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
So,
confuses me.
and then
What?
again, Aldi with the trenches with Gabby's car setting on
Oh
fire,
my God. That poor kid,
who also
man.
almost just didn't qualify at all. I remember I
Mm-hmm.
was because I was watching Sky. Ted was talking about it. His engine, the entire back of Gabby's car was not attached to the front.
Really?
Yes, his car was in two halves because they were working on the engine to fix the issue that they had that disqualified him from the sprint. Because it was an engine pressure issue. So they were fixing that. But like he almost didn't qualify because his car was still just in two pieces because they were working on the engine. He just didn't have an
That's
engine.
crazy.
So he almost just didn't qualify at all. And then when he did qualify, his car set on fire.
I think his radio message too, where he's like, mate, I'm on fire.
Yeah. Like
What are
genuinely,
we
what do you do in that
doing?
situation?
And he was, the fact that he was so chill about it is just so funny. Because if my
Hmm.
car was on fire, I'd be like, get me the out of here.
Yeah. Because it was his brakes, I think, as well. So like
Yeah, it was
that's
the
his feet.
brakes.
Like
Yeah.
that's right at his feet. I'd be
Ugh.
bricking it if my car set on
Yeah.
fire. And also, George and Lewis at the exact same time in Q2. I thought that was fun.
My Brit Sadies. You were so
Real.
dearly missed.
Yes. But yeah, they set the same
Ugh.
time. And then Lando didn't almost didn't get out of Q2.
Yes, that too. What was McLaren doing?
It's so funny because you go from P1 and P2 in the sprint to the
P3 and
trenches.
P7.
P3 and P7, like what
Almost
happened?
getting knocked out in Q1. Like
Yeah.
your your world championship driver almost gets knocked out in Q2.
Yeah.
What are we doing,
After winning the
guys?
sprint like
Yeah,
3 hours earlier. Which is
I
the other thing. Like it was the same day and they just flipped a switch and went it was yeah. I
it,
was so baffled watching it.
but Max put it to P2,
Max did
Kimmy
put it
P1,
to P2.
and then who was P3? Was it
Charles.
Charles? Charles, yes. And then it
It
was
was
Lando, Lewis? Or no, it was George, and then
Lewis Oscar?
Lewis,
Oscar
Oscar,
Lewis?
yes.
One of the
Mhm.
yeah, that
One of those
one of
two.
those ways. Yeah.
Because Oscar was P7, but there was two people in between him. And what is going on with George Russell and his car?
I do not know.
Because how is your teammate going to have the exact same car?
Yeah.
Also, again, spoilers for the actual race, but he finds out that he's in the wrong engine mode, finds like
Yes.
3/10 a lap. What is going on? Like, I don't know if
It's
it's just my feelings on it is that this has been pointed out before. It's that there is a very clear gap in strategic knowledge between Kimmy and George's garage. And it's
mm,
because Kimmy has multiple constructor championship winning engineer Bono over the radio.
yep.
And you can say what you will about Toto deciding not to switch the less experienced engineer with Bono because George has been there longer, but they've also had like a
Yeah.
bond with Marcus. But also, there's a very, very clear difference in between them. And
Yeah.
the past couple weekends, again, he won the season opener. What,
Yeah.
how has this dropped off so much? Like,
I don't.
how are your technicians, your mechanics on your side of the garage not finding that there's something wrong with your car when that's their entire job? How are you having to be
Yeah.
your own strategist engineer in the actual race? But
He'd do great in Ferrari.
I don't know. It's just,
Considering Lewis and Charles basically have to do that.
oh my
But anyway,
God.
that's not the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, the difference between Kimmy and George is actually
It's really
insane
striking and it's really
because
concerning.
it is because George is the better driver.
Hmm.
Just he is. Um, the like Kimmy does not have good wheel to wheel. He's great when he's
Yes.
in front because he just speeds away because the car's
Hmm.
great and he can keep it on track and he can push and he can get it where it needs to be. But when he's fighting with other people, he is not as good as George
Because he's younger. He's got
because
less
he's younger.
experience.
Yeah, exactly. George is just gonna be better at it because he's done it more. He's done it for
Yeah.
what, 8 years? This is eight,
Hmm.
7 years.
Is it?
7 years. This is
Yes.
Charles's eighth, and he was the year
Hmm.
before. Yeah, 7 years. So yeah, he's obviously got more experience. So the fact that George is just continuously in the trenches with the car and not being able to get it. When was the last time he was on the podium? Was it China?
Yeah. I don't think he was on the podium for
I don't think
Japan.
no, because it was Oscar.
Oscar,
It was
Charles,
Kimi,
and
Oscar, and
Kimmy.
Charles. Yeah. So George hasn't been on the podium
I
in
think
a
since
sprint or like a race since the Chinese Grand Prix.
that's bonkers to me. When
Yeah.
you have what is reasonably a championship winning car,
Mm-hmm.
you have a very, very talented driver who is like putting Williams in the points when they should not have been in the
Yeah.
points in 2019,
Yeah.
and who has outscored his teammate, seven-time world championship teammate, by the way, in his last couple races at Mercedes. Like,
Yeah.
won a race in the season when I don't think Lewis did, or I think there was that one season where he outscored Lewis, but
Yeah.
how are you going to fail him like that?
I don't get it. I really don't. And I feel terrible for him because you can
Yeah.
see that he's like,
He's doing everything he possibly can to
yeah.
wrench that car into at least point scoring places. And then
No, literally.
it's just ridiculous. So that brings us to the actual race on
Yes.
Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
where I was able to catch more of the F2 feature race than I did the day before. And Colton Herta scored points. He overtook people right in front of me. He did it for me. I love Colton Herta. If he had
I,
a Cadillac
yeah,
jersey, I would buy it.
real. I watched it because I was bored before the Grand Prix and it was on. And I was like,
Mhm.
you know what? Why not? Crazy race.
Yeah.
7 people didn't finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's talk about that because the Formula 2
Yeah.
races that I saw highlights from the sprint race and then I saw like
Mm.
more of the actual race. I think
Mhm.
we were there for a good chunk of it. Like I want to say
Yeah.
three-quarters of it. There was some good wheel to wheel. Like that one
It was,
overtake between who was it, Dino, Big Bo McClot, and the other guy,
yeah.
where Big Bo McClot like went through in the chicane. There's some great wheel to wheel happening there.
Oh, the racing was fantastic. And the fact that
Yeah.
I felt so bad for the fact that it's their first ever like race in Miami and it rains.
Yeah. And I mean, that is one of the reasons why there were so many people like dropping like flies.
Yeah.
But it was genuinely like a really good race. And we got
It
to
was
our
really
grandstand
good.
and everyone was like, whoa, they were like cheering and because there was, again, great overtakes happening
Yeah.
in the Formula 2 cars.
Yep.
Well, the one that Colton Herta did in front of me, I will talk about that. The one that he did in front of me, because we had like, that kind of like parabolic curve.
Yeah.
So he came up the inside. It goes from left to right, at least where we were.
Yep.
Colton Herta is going up the inside. I forget who it was, but it was him, and then Colton was on the inside. So Colton
Yeah.
Herta is like wheel to wheel with this guy, and then at the turn exit, he like finally slips through, and then goes on to like turn onto the back straight or the front straight kind of. I wish I got a video of it because it was genuinely such a good overtake. He
Yeah.
was really, really good in IndyCar, and it makes me sad to see that his team in F2 isn't supporting that, but his
Yeah.
wheel was really good in IndyCar. And there was actually a clip that came across my timeline the other day where he had basically like saved his car from absolutely messing it into the barriers at the IMS road course.
Yeah.
And I'll send it to you if I find it. But this man literally, because IndyCar doesn't have power steering, so
Yeah.
he wrenched the car. The car goes into a slide. He wrenched the car, like he held it. He held the slide as they were going through the chicane, wrenched it over to the other side to because it was also raining. So he wrenched it over to the other side to get out of the chicane and then wrenched it back around to finish the chicane to go back to the rest of the road course. And he didn't lose any time. No one overtook him. I have to find it for you because
Oh my
try not to say
God.
my goat challenge failed. I love Colton Herta. His wheel to wheel is amazing. The way that he
Yeah.
handles the car is amazing. I just want him to be good in Formula 2. But
Yeah.
anyway, Formula 2
Anyway.
race aside, that was genuinely a very fantastic race.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
have gotten to the main event after, unfortunately, a very long time of rambles. The Formula One Miami Grand Prix.
Yes.
I felt sick to my stomach waiting for those five lights to go out. You could hear a pin drop, okay, waiting for those five lights to go out.
Mm-hmm.
When the last light finally went off,
Yep.
I swear to God, I don't think I've ever yelled so loud in my life. Cause ugh, I can't even talk about it. Why don't you take it away?
Well, I was thinking that we could do sort of like 3 words to describe
Okay.
our experience of the Miami Grand Prix. Um, I did. I do you want to start or should I start? Because I think mine is significantly
Um.
worse than yours.
Ugh. So my three words to describe this race were holy. Okay, because from I'll admit it was a bit of a sandwich where there was like a lot happening the first couple laps, then
Mm,
nothing, and then all of a sudden everything started
mm.
happening within the last
Yeah,
7 to 10. But turn one, carnage, Max spins, catches it, keeps going.
that was really hot
Isaac,
for Max, to be honest.
I
That was
know,
a
I have to
great
admit
catch.
that was really really good
Yeah,
wheel. Um, Ma Isaac coming in too early in a corner, absolutely destroying the car, having like
a
a
fist fight with
rage
the
quit,
air.
a fist fight with the air. F1 TV at least putting him on screen for way too long, and you could like kind of hear him yelling in the onboard. Liam Lawson, car the bed, hits Pierre Gasly, flips over onto his head, and then
Yeah.
just like in the barriers, 45 degrees. So I don't know if this is what happened because we were in person. This was not the turn that we were sitting at. It was like
Yeah.
turn 17 or 18. So it was one of the very, very last turns of the
Hmm.
entire thing. So we're watching Isaac Hajar on the literally crashing out on the Jumbotron. And all of a sudden, like the camera switches and Pierre Gasly's 45 degrees, like
Yeah.
sitting on a barrier. It was so random. And then, of course, it comes out that there was something wrong with Liam's car and the revs were too low. So it went into
Yeah.
anti-stall and he, like,
Yeah.
basically the car crapped the bed. And
Yeah.
he hit Pierre Gasly, rolled over, and then wound up 45 degrees into a barrier.
Yeah.
We haven't seen, besides Yuki's crash in, was it Suzuka last year? Or maybe it was Imola. No, it was Imola where he like flipped through the air and then was caught
Mm.
by the barrier fence. But that was I think the scariest. Besides that one, that was one of the scariest that we've had in a really really long time. And the Halo again saved his life.
I
Um,
think, when was it? It was Zhou Guan Yu
yes, when he
at
like slid on the
Silverstone.
Halo.
Where at Silverstone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, we luckily haven't had many sort of bad crashes like that
Mm-hmm.
since like the Halo being introduced.
Yeah.
But honestly, thank God for the Halo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jesus
Pierre would
Christ.
genuinely, he would not be alive. And like, I'm not a Pierre Gasly fan. I make jokes about Pierre Gasly all the time. Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie. But that was genuinely very, very scary to witness.
yeah,
Another thing about being in person and like watching the race is that you don't really like understand. Of course, you understand to a degree like the danger that these drivers are in, but when you see like these are real cars and real people driving those cars, you
yeah,
understand how terrifying it can be to get into a car and drive it. Because like yeah, everyone fantasizes about going fast and overtaking whatever, but these are again real people risking their
yeah.
lives, literally putting their lives on the line
Mm,
to drive fast cars and try and get points every weekend.
yeah,
It's very almost like I don't want to say I not somber, but it's very sobering, especially when you're
mm,
like in person and a bad crash happens like that. Because
yeah,
also something that I didn't think about is that you can hear the crash happening, and usually it's muted on the broadcast. And
yeah.
fortunately, we weren't able to hear either Isaac or Pierre's crashes. Not a good day for the Frenchman, I'll say that.
No, no.
But it's very, very sobering and it weighed a little bit heavy on my soul, I think, to think that
Yeah,
happened like maybe like a mile away from me or whatever, because
yeah,
it's like three, whatever. But it's very, very it's just it's very different attending a race in person, especially a race like this one where a lot of stuff happened in very, very
yeah.
little time. But
No,
anyway,
I
what are your
can.
three words?
My my three words are terrible, awful, and eventful. That's my three words.
Oh, okay.
£5 says you can't guess why.
No. What would that be?
Oh, it was no, because it was going so well. Well, it was going well. It wasn't going so well. It was going well. It was a fun
Hmm.
race. And then the last lap happens, and
Oh my God.
Charles just loses the car because his idea to let Oscar pass,
Was not a bad one.
it wasn't a bad one because the Ferrari is not quicker than the McLaren. So
Hmm.
getting the overtake to then get the place back before the end of the lap to keep the
Yeah.
P3 was a genuine smart move.
Hmm. And I remember I was thinking like, because they had the fight going on the Jumbotron,
Hmm.
and I was like, why the heck is he closing his wing like
I was
halfway
really,
down the
really
straight?
confused.
Yeah,
I thought it was malfunctioning, and
me
then the
too.
post-race interviews, he was like, "No, I did that on purpose," and I was like, "Oh, okay, that it makes
Because he
sense."
was
But
trying to
I when
save
I
it for
yeah, but when I was watching, I was like, "Is his
yeah.
rear
What
wing
the
is
like?
it
Is there
broken?"
something wrong?
Like
Yeah.
I was so that stressed me out because I was like, "What's
Hmm.
happening?" It's like that was a genuine smart move, and I can see his thought process and everything behind it. And then Charles being Charles and pushing it to the limit every single time. It was the one rare moment where he lost it and didn't completely bin it, which I'm grateful for. But did he also span and did clip the barrier. He didn't save it quite as well as
Yeah.
Max didn't turn in the first lap. And then and then the poor car, he was limping home,
Limping home. I
could
remember they were
not turn
showing.
right. In on any sense of the word. There is footage of his onboard where he has the wheel
Yeah.
and the car's just going straight.
Yeah.
It's not turning. And so he then cuts corners. And I will admit he should have got a penalty for that. I
Yeah.
will hold my hands up and say he should have got a penalty for that.
Yeah.
20 seconds?
20 seconds is insane
A
because
stop
I
and go
remember
penalty?
that
Why?
that's absolutely insane to me because, well, I've listened to other podcasts about the Shout out to P1 with Matt and Tommy,
Mm,
and they were absolutely spot on when they said this because not only was he driving the car in an unsafe manner, but a similar thing happened in Singapore last year when Lewis lost his brakes and he
yeah.
also got a penalty. But it was only what, five,
It
ten
was 5
seconds?
seconds, and Lewis was also
20?
doing it for like for more than one lap.
Yeah. But
And Charles'
20
own.
seconds is absolutely bonkers.
I remember vividly. I was crashing out watching it happen because everyone was overtaking him. And
Hmm.
then he got called to the stewards for three infringements, three investigations,
Three. Oh my
two
God.
of them being irrelevant. And then obviously the whole leaving the track and gaining
I
an
remember
advantage 20
we were
second.
we were driving back from the track. So for context, it took us like 45 minutes to get back from the track that day because we also stopped at like the F1 Flagship Store or whatever.
Hmm.
We were this was like an hour or two after the race,
Yeah.
and that's when they said like they were calling him into the stewards. And
Oh, they took
then
ages to get to the
yeah.
end of like to give him a penalty though.
Hmm.
It was ridiculous.
It was so ridiculous. And then it comes out and it's 20 seconds, drops him down behind Lewis. And then Max also gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane or like
Yep.
overtaking under a safety car. But that's 5 seconds. He stays where he was
Hmm.
because the gap was so big between Lewis, Charles, and him.
Yep.
But okay, because remember, I'm in person at the race.
Hmm.
I'm an Oscar fan. My girlfriend is a George fan. But our other friend is a Charles fan. Um, Also, another fun fact about our grandstand was that it was partially the McLaren grandstand.
Oh.
So, and let me tell you, I was the only Oscar fan in that entire grandstand. At least where the McLaren seats were, I was
I'm
the
so sorry.
only I was the only one. There was like one old guy behind me that had an Oscar shirt on, and
Hmm.
that was it. Like everybody else was Lando, Lando, Lando.
Yeah.
So I am like cheering, I'm whooping, I'm hooting, I'm hollering, like, and then this is from a secondary or a secondary observer because I'm like, let's go, Oscar. Apparently, as I was like, oh my God, like, did we just win the lottery? Tally is sitting with her head in her hands like this, like stunned because of what happened. I'm like, let's go, Oscar, come on, bring it home. And
I can picture that so vividly. Oh my God. Yeah, I can imagine because I was doing the same thing as Sally.
I was having the time of my life.
Yep.
Tally was having the worst time of her life. I can tell you
Yep.
that.
Yep.
But
Oh God.
I was so ecstatic for what I had just seen unfold in
Hmm.
front of my eyeballs. And then after the race finished, I'm not like really a runner or like didn't think I would be swept up in the spectacle, but we did do track invasion.
Nice.
That was so super fun. But the only reason we did it is because it was very, very close to where the exit to our gate was.
Right.
So after all that,
Hmm.
we left our grandstand and then we waited for like the marshals to leave and then the recovery vehicles to leave. And then they like opened the gates. So
Yeah.
I have it right here. I got tire marbles from the side of the track. It's like and
Oh.
it's gotten like weirdly really hard. They were like super like warm and kind of like pliable.
Yeah.
And that's how I was able to roll them into the ball. But they're like that's
Damn.
pretty solid.
Yeah.
And then I was like overtaken by by the moment. I was like, "Do you guys want to run to the podium?" And remember, George Russell and Charles Leclerc are fan next to me, and they're like, "No." And I was like, "You know what? Say la vie." So I sprinted there. I got like
Yeah.
a pretty good view. I wasn't like right there, which
Mm.
honestly I was fine with, but I got to
Yeah.
see the podium ceremony. I got to see Oscar stuck in the streamers. Oh my Shayla. Oh my Shayla.
I
I
love
love
that
him so
picture of
much.
him.
He's so silly. I love
Yeah.
him. But that's what the post race was like for me.
Hmm.
Do you have any final thoughts on the race itself? Because wait, before we continue, I thought, look, there's a lot of hate that goes on at the Miami towards the Miami track. It's not good. It's like not. It's very new, so they don't have that hasn't really quite gotten into the swing of things, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean. This was a really good race. And again, I mentioned before, it was kind of like a nothing burger sandwich where like there was a lot happening at the beginning and then it was kind of like not quite a processional because there was some midfield overtaking,
Yeah.
but nothing really like huge happened. And then there was the craziness with George, Oscar, Max, Charles, etc.
Yeah.
But overall, I was entertained. I think it was a pretty good race.
I
And
enjoyed it.
And addressing the elephant in the room, I think the updates to the regulations worked really well. Um, the the crashes that happened were not a direct result of the
Mm,
actual like regulations themselves. It was
no.
just like racing incidents. Like it was
Yeah.
not like a failure of the machine. Well, one of them was a failure of the machinery,
Yeah, it
but
was it was more it was back down to driver error and machine
yeah.
error rather than
Hmm.
like the closing speeds and
Yeah, yeah,
whatnot.
yeah. So I don't think the regulations are perfect,
Mm,
as a lot of other people say, but it was a step in the right direction in any way.
yeah. They are changing them again for next year.
Again? Oh, yes, they're doing
Yeah, the
60/40.
engines. Yeah. Yeah. And they also the changes they did put out for before Miami, they didn't technically use them because it was the way they've worded it's like track specific for the
Yeah.
difference in like the megajoules and whatever the
I
hell.
think they called them, the term I heard used was energy rich, which means there's a lot of braking zones and a lot of like
Yeah.
or recharging points, whatever.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season is with them.
Hmm.
But yeah, yeah, they've updating the engines again for next year, which will be good, I think, because I do think the
Hmm.
50/50 is kind of not really
Yeah.
helping.
Hmm.
Oh, another thing, Turkey's coming back next year.
Yeah. I
Huge.
can't believe it.
Yeah, 5-year contract for Turkey starting in 2027.
Hmm.
Huge news. I'm
It
excited for that.
joins Portimao in
It
coming
does.
back.
Yes.
Which now we understand why they got rid of Imola last year.
Yeah.
I have to rewatch that race because that was one of the races where I was like first starting and it was at like 5 in the morning for me and I didn't
Mm,
quite like sit down to watch it. But I feel like that's the races that they've had there in the past are like pretty good. Like that's where
yeah.
Lewis won his sixth or seventh championship. Um he won one of them there,
He
but
did. Yes.
it's a great track, and I do
Hmm.
need to watch some of the older races.
Yeah, me too. Speaking of, do we want to, I guess,
Unfortunately, listeners, it's been a bit of a crazy period of weeks. Unfortunately, I did not watch the assigned race that I was assigned.
boo.
I know. Come on, tomato me. Tomato me.
Boo. Yeah. I did,
Yes, you
however.
did.
It was
And
a
then which
very
race were you
eventful.
watching?
It was the 2011 Japanese Grand Prix,
Mm.
which ended up being the Grand Prix that Sebastian Vettel won the championship.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Yes. They opened the broadcast being like, Seb could win here, and I'm like, sorry? What do you mean? So yeah, the he won his second championship. Like his
Wow.
first back to back. He's the youngest back to back championship winner because of this race,
Wow.
which is a very nice, very fun fact. It was
Hmm.
crazy eventful though. There were 24 drivers, first of all, there were 12 teams.
Whoa.
Yeah. I was looking at the starting grid and I was like, what do you mean 24? Why are there 12 teams on the grid? So that was very interesting. I have my little notes that I took because I was not gonna remember this. Um, Lewis got a puncture at one point.
Oh,
Mm. Seb had a 4.6 second stop at another point.
wow.
Yeah, Sebastian Buemi's right front wheel, he like went off. The wheel just came off.
Oh,
Wheel just came straight, like clean off. The tire just came clean off, which was very, very interesting. It was fun to see Force India again.
oh.
Yeah, because they were one of the teams. That was an interesting part of it. Um, Jensen won the race. Jensen Button won the
Hmm.
race. He
He's with
overtook,
McLaren there?
um, yes, I believe so.
Hmm.
Um, Lewis was also with McLaren.
Oh.
Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, after a pit stop. Jenson Button overtook Sebastian Vettel, which was very,
Hmm.
very interesting. And then there was a safety car for the tiniest bit of debris on track.
See,
There was nothing. There was basically, it could have been, I think, probably yellow flagged, or at least, yeah, I think it could have been yellow flagged in it because it was the
hmm.
tiniest bit of debris. And I was like, I saw the safety car and I was like, why is there a safety car? And then they just cut to really zoomed in on track, just a piece of debris. And I'm like, seriously? Really? So that was really funny. And then so it was Jenson Button P1, Fernando Alonso and Ferrari P2, which made me very happy.
Yeah.
And then Sebastian Vettel P3, and it
Wait,
made it made
is that the race where he's like staring into space? Because you know the meme where he's like being interviewed and he's kind of like
oh, possibly. I know what you mean.
yeah.
I didn't I don't think I really paid attention. I was more focused on Seb because he won
Yeah.
the championship. But yeah, he won his second world championship and is the youngest back-to-back championship winner, like having two back-to-back
Hmm.
ever.
Wow.
It was also a podium made up entirely of world champions.
Really?
Well, yeah, Jensen,
Oh, because it
Fernando, and
was
Seb.
Fernando. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I noticed that when I was looking. I was like, oh, this is actually like a huge podium. Like, this is crazy. Um, Nico Rosberg, can I just say, started P23, finished P10, just to glaze him a little
Whoa.
bit. Yeah,
Oh my
he did a
gosh.
great race.
Yeah, good for
Um,
him.
and there's there they were showing the crowd, and there were people dressed up as Red Bull cans, and they it was fantastic. And they had like the can like I don't know what like the tabs as like
Yeah.
hats. They had them over their
Oh my
faces.
God, that's so
It was
funny.
so fun.
Japan always
Um
has some really good fan outfits.
yes. Yes, every single time. Um and these are just sort of some post race things. Vodafone McLaren Mercedes, awful team name.
What a
Terrible team name.
mouthful.
Right? They were saying it and I was like, this is no, this is just bad team name. And then I also have the opinion that having watched that and also watched 2016, they should bring back asking drivers for like comments in their native languages in the post-race interviews.
Oh yeah.
They should totally bring that back, and I don't know why they haven't. Like they should
Yeah.
I love it when they say that. And also because I then watched Japan, I'm still working my way through 2022, and I watched Japan like I think the day after this or something. And I noticed that Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen both win their back-to-back second championships for Red Bull at Japan, at Suzuka. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my
It was
goodness.
yeah, I was watching Max and he it was such a weird win because he didn't know he won when he crossed the finish line because
Oh.
Charles then got a penalty which then put him down and meant that
Hmm.
Max won because they got 4 points despite the red flag at the it was a very confusing end to the race. No one was quite sure what was happening, and then it was like the middle of the post-race interviews, and they were talking to I think it was Chaco, whoever came second, and they called Max back over, being like, "You've won the championship, by the way." It's just to let you know, we've just found out you won the championship because Charles got a penalty. But yeah, so they both won their back-to-back second championships for Red Bull at Suzuka, which was
Wow.
just, yeah, a real fun fact.
Well, now I know why Red Bull loves Suzuka so much.
Yeah, they
Maybe
have a
not this
very
year,
good.
but
Well, yeah, but up until this year, they have had a good track
Mhm.
record
Yeah.
with Suzuka. But yeah, that was my race rewind of the 2011 Japanese Grand Prix.
You know what? When we spin the wheel again for the next episode, I will do both of them. So,
Really? Okay, we
yes,
do
I
this
will do
now then?
both of them. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and spin the race rewind wheel to see what
Say that
races
10 times fast.
Right? No, I won't do it. But let's see what races we will be rewinding with.
Okay, right. So it is the exact same wheel as last time, minus two, because that's four.
Yes.
Minus two, because I took them out. So without further ado, first wheel, as it is spinning. This will be your one. We'll do it the same way.
Yes.
And it is
Let me make the note for
2001
this.
Abu Dhabi.
2009. Oh my God. For a second, I thought you said 2021. I was like,
No!
whoa. Okay. So
No,
2009,
2009.
Abu Dhabi. Okay.
Yes. And my one, I hope at this point, there's so many that I'm probably gonna get one I've already watched recently, eventually.
Hmm.
But okay, I haven't watched any
That's not
23.
bad.
So 2023 Mexican Grand Prix will be
Oh,
very interesting.
I think I know which one this
Oh yeah.
is. So with that, thank you guys so much for listening. You can follow us at the Double DSQ on all of the social medias, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, whatever you can think of. And if you'd like
Hmm.
to shoot us an email with either some questions or some, just comments on our podcast, if you have any suggestions, you can email us at the double DSQ pod at gmail.com. Everything will
Yes.
be linked in the description. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you out on track.